What's up, guys? It's Atlas here. Today I want to talk to you guys about tips and tricks for Ember Spirit. That's what this
Destiny
video will be
awaits
all
us
about.
all.
So let's start out with what you'll be doing. It really depends on the game,
Lokilize,
or
DotA.
what your captain is drafting you, depending on if you're just playing all pick or you're playing captain's mode. Maybe your captain wants you to run an id Ember Spirit or a safe lane Ember Spirit.
A journey
It
without
varies
end.
from game to game. Usually, as a captain, I like to run mid Ember Spirit just because
What must
he
be
doesn't exactly
discovered?
need the safe lane, although he does thrive in it. Just easier last hits and whatnot. But okay, so with your item build, it really depends on what you want to do. Battle Fury is really great, but it does take a little while to get, being that it's 4,350 gold, and Maelstrom is a lot cheaper. Um, if I'm Ember Spirit, sometimes I like to get a Maelstrom instead of a Battle Fury, just because it's cheaper. It's so much cheaper than a Battle Fury.
Be wary,
But starting off,
be cautious.
let's say you're going mid Ember Spirit. So let's talk about tips and tricks for that, or how to deal with that lane. Usually you want to max Flame Guard first because this thing is basically a free Radiance. Albeit a very close range Radiance, it's still it's a free Radiance with magic absorption. It's a big deal, especially depending on who you're mitting up against, be it a Necrophos or a Zeus. Zeus especially, this is pretty strong against because you can get in for last hits and not take
All
too much
action
damage at
is
higher levels.
reaction.
Well, actually, at least if you don't want to max Flame Guard, at least get it to level 2. Just because the magic absorption at level 1 is pretty terrible, but at 2 it jumps up by 150, and it'll make a big difference. It'll make your life so much easier.
The way
All
is
right,
clear.
so starting items, usually I like to grab Iron Branch, Stout Shield, and Quelling Blade, which that runs you about it's less than 625. That's the point. Um, I usually don't run a Clarity or Tangos just because I like to get a good start, and Stout Shield and Quelling Blade usually uh,
Flame lights the
make it
way.
so that I don't have to get too far into mid lane, and last hits aren't terribly hard to get, so I'm not taking too much
All
harassment.
paths find
And by the
serenity.
time I've got enough money for my bottle, I might be at half HP or so. But I've got wards, and I'm making sure I'm not getting ganked. So and that's the only reason I don't
Your
go
top
for
tower is under
consumables.
attack.
But anyway, once I get
The
my bottle, I
end
start bottle
is
crowing,
endless.
and that's just how then I start to get more aggressive, and that way, that's just how I
Your top
maintain myself
tower is
without
under
consumables.
attack.
Play safe until I get my bottle, and then start harassing like crazy. All right, so the Valve suggested build is actually really
Your
good on
top
this
tower
guy.
is under
Unlike some
attack.
heroes, there are some heroes in the game where it's like, you guys kind of need to update that a little bit. I mean, although they have, like they finally took Battle Fury off of Bounty
Your
Hunter's
top
build, which
tower
was
is under
great.
attack.
I was never seriously against it, but it was it's an outdated thing to do. It was like an outdated style of playing Bounty Hunter. But
Balance in
I mean,
all
honestly, the only reason to
things.
have it was the Perseverance, just because that regen, the Battle Fury itself, the cleave wasn't really helpful for a hero
Your
like him.
middle
Remedy
tower is
must
under
be
attack.
Anyway,
earned.
so when you play them, you get depending on who you're up against, you need to decide whether you want cleave or you want to get a Maelstrom.
Your
Because
bottom
usually you don't
tower is
want to
under
get
attack.
both, because they both accomplish the
Walk
same
the
purpose,
warrior's
sort
way.
of. Just because they're both good at clearing creeps out faster. But and it also depends on how your farm is going to go.
Your
If your
bottom
farm's going to be
tower
really
is under
bad,
attack.
you're probably going to want to skip for a Maelstrom, because if you can't farm well, then Battlefield is going to take you a really long time to get.
Trial by
Your
But if your
bottom
farm is
tower is
good,
under
you
attack.
definitely want to go for a Battle Fury all day, every day, because it allows you to farm Ancients.
my image steps
And then
forth.
plus it gives you that regen, mana and HP
It
regen that you'll
must
need
be
early on.
done.
It helps maintain Flame Guard and your other abilities, so you don't have to worry about bottling nearly as much.
Ah,
All right, so let's talk about how aggressive you should be in the mid
money
lane.
spent wisely.
Now, if you're like me and
What
you don't get
dangers
consumables
lie
at
here?
the very beginning, well, it depends on the game really, but a lot of the time I don't get consumables. Um,
Double damage
you'll
empowers
want to
me.
play pretty passive,
The stalwart flame
and that's just because if
flickers.
you can't risk a death as a mid Ember Spirit, because you're already you're not in the one position. I mean, I guess depending on who your carry is, you're most likely not in the one position. and
On
a
and
death
on
could,
again.
that like even one death can seriously set you back, especially if it sets you back on your bottle, because once again you really need that bottle. Anyway, so let's talk about like, things you can do while you're in mid.
Hurry to the fray.
This right here, great way to go ahead. You
Be
can stack
wary.
ancients while you're in
Be
mid.
cautious.
Um, you can either stack for your hard carry or stack for yourself.
The road
If you're
is
not getting a Battle
endless.
Fury, I don't recommend stacking simply because it's going to be really hard to farm these things. Like even if I'm not even on WTF mode, hold
The
on.
stalwart flame.
Even just
Flip.
sleight of fisting like that. I mean, look how little damage I'm doing, and that's changed drastically by a Battle Fury. So this is going to keep going on for a little while, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so big thing on Ember Spirit is farming efficiency. You definitely need to make sure you're being efficient when you're farming. He's got like he's extremely farm dependent because without items like Battle Fury and Maelstrom, he's
No
pretty
path,
useless.
but through.
Because like early game, he relies on Searing Chains and Flame Guard. Late game, those are nice, but they aren't going to carry your team. That's where Sleight of Fist comes in, which is why usually a lot of people like to level that last,
Dangers
or
lie
some people do. I'm not going to say a lot. I don't really know how most people play them, but Searing Chains and Sleight of Fist usually are coming in last, just because
content in battle.
they're not terribly great in the early game. Searing Chains doesn't scale that well, mainly because the duration doesn't change to 3 until the last level, so you got to get level 7 to at least get a really good amount of damage on it. However, I do like to, depending on the game, I do like to get Searing Chains up, and sometimes I'll just go with a 3-2-1 build, or sometimes I'll actually skip Fire Remnant. It's very rare that I do, but I like to get a lot into Flame Guard and Searing Chains for those early ganks because this guy can snowball extremely well, but you just have to succeed with your ganks. That's basically just the rule. If you don't, if like failed ganks can set them back. So if you're going to go for a gank, you need to make sure that you can definitely finish it. You'll the reward is worth how much time you're taking off to go gank. So anyway, you'll want to stack ancients if you're mid, and like I said, it's really easy to do. At about the 25-second mark on each minute, you'll want to just throw a flame spirit up there. And at 51 seconds, go ahead and use activate fire remnant. And so yeah, but during that you can keep on farming. It's really simple. You just watch the timer, and this takes you all of about like 2 or 3 seconds to actually do. So you're not really losing any time in mid, and of course later on this will pay off. Just watch that 51-second mark. Maybe go over here to the jungle while your wave is pushed up. It's just about time.
All action is reaction.
I think that guy's stuck. Makes me sad. Yeah, I think he's stuck. Well, anyway, you get the idea. You saw how I did it the first time. It's a really efficient way to stack ancients for yourself or your hard carry, depending if you're going Battle Fury or not. And like I said, if you're able to go Battle Fury, you definitely want to go Battle Fury. All right, so let's talk about when you shift to the jungle. There's a good chance at some point in the game, hopefully your supports have stacked for you. They probably won't be stacking right here, but if you do, shift over here just for a little bit while you're playing in mid, and you're just shifting over here for a short amount of time to jungle, you can heavily maximize your efficiency just by ripping through these trees right here with your flame spirit. As I won't say, okay, never mind, I'll scratch that. Like I wouldn't say heavily maximize, but it's not bad. Just anytime you can cut off of your farming rate, or anytime you take the farm, anytime you can cut off is good time. If you take one here, take one here, and I've already ripped up these trees, or pumpkins in this case.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Do something like that. Well, actually, never mind, that didn't work. I can't remember how. But anyway, you can. The point is, you can just rip up the trees, and that way you can easily access your camps and farm more quickly, because at this point in the game,
Your
I
middle
mean,
tower is
if you're
under
in the
attack.
jungle, you're probably trying to get your Battle Fury or maybe your Desolator. And you just, if you're in the jungle, it's always kind of stressful as Ember Spirit because you know a lot is counting on you to get that farm because you are a core part of your team, and if your team isn't doing too well, you definitely need to make sure you're farmed. You know, an unfarmed Ember Spirit can be the death of your team. All right, so let's talk about tricks. While you're in Sleight of Fist, you can use every single ability. Now, a lot of you guys already know this because you can do, you know, searing chains like that. I did that a little slow, but you know, you can still do it. But you can also do things like you can turn this on, which, you know, Flame Guard, you know, turning that on in Sleight of Fist isn't like, you know, amazing, but actually having it on during Sleight of Fist adds a little bit of extra damage. You know, it's another, I think it adds probably about 60 damage because you're only, you know, in there for like half a second, so I'm not even sure if the damage procs off, but you can do that. But the main thing here is being able to use your ult. And that's why I'm going to go over here to mid, so I got these pudges set up, because this is a little bit more tricky. Using your ult efficiently while you're inside a fist. It's not terribly hard, but it's not the easiest thing at the same time. Now, I didn't do that terribly fast, I was kind of slow, that was for you guys. But, you know, Sleight of Fist, and then ult, because this can get you closer, especially if you're like right here. Oh my, cooldown. Anyway, if you can do it from this range, it offers you the opportunity to get your spirit further out, because you know, the game will consider you that you're right here, even though you're all the way back here. You can get your remnant further out, and it's better for chasing, and it's good for kiting as well. So you know, let's say you got all these guys chasing you around, and you do this. Oh, I made it. Okay, actually no, I did that one. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I thought I made a mistake. Oh, one thing about that though, if you use your activate fire remnant too early, you can mess it up. What will happen? I'll try to demonstrate it real quick because you gotta do it. No, it's not like hard, but you gotta make sure that you're out of Sleight of Fist before you use your activate fire remnant. Well, dang, that's. I can just show you, like, nope, no fire remnant charges, even though it's active. I'll wait on a charge. Anyway, let's talk about the next thing. Okay, you can also, just real quick, I'll show you this once I get up. Never mind, okay, I can't do that one. Items, just more items, okay. Items that stack well with each other, Desolator, Battle Fury, you know, Desolator, Battle Fury, Daedalus. But one a lot of people don't really know about is Shadowblade. It's a really uncommon item on him, but it's also really good. So, go back to base real quick. We'll grab that, and by then I'll have some more fire remnants for demonstration. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Now, you can't use Shadowblade and then Sleight of Fist. As you can see, you'll just pop out of it. That's not the trick. What you want to do is Sleight of Fist, like, especially if you got like a battle Daedalus. You know, Sleight of Fist real quick, then you Shadowblade. Actually, preferably you'd want to have Flame Guard on. I forgot to do that. Sleight of Fist, and you can actually Shadowblade while you're in Sleight of Fist. And then you come up and attack, and you know, you get that. You've already got Desolator off on all those people. You get the extra 150 damage on top of your the damage you already have. So yeah. As you can see, if you notice, I put my remnant right there, and then I ended up right back here. That's because if you activate Fire Remnant while you're in Sleight of Fist, like, you can use any ability you want while you're in Sleight of Fist. That includes activate Fire Remnant, and so I actually went to the remnants. But Sleight of Fist wasn't over yet, so I went ahead and went back to my starting point of Sleight of Fist. Alright, next up. This trick's not terribly exciting, but you know, it's there. You can actually do things like, I mean, you know, you can turn on Flame Guard, and then you can go to this, and you can use Searing Chains while you're going through the ult, your little fireball, which it's gonna be kind of like, you know, I doubt you'll really think of that one while you're, you know, in the middle of a fight, but
Your bottom
It's
tower
possible you
has
might.
fallen.
You could probably use that to your advantage. So,
The way
and
is
here's
clear.
another thing. You used to see this a lot. I don't see this too much in Dota 2. I saw it a lot more back in the Warcraft
All
3 Dota
paths
1.
find serenity.
Multiple ults, that means more damage. So like, you know, each instance is 200 damage at max level. So like if I, you know, threw 3 ults at you, I'd do 600 damage. Stand these pudges over here.
My image steps forth.
I mean, you could tell it did multiple instances of damage. It's not a huge deal because usually you want to save your remnants, and unless, you know, maybe it's like you're taking the range and you're just kind of messing around. Because, you know, using all your remnants at once, unless you absolutely need to secure a kill, is kind of not good, because you usually want to save them for escapes and more initiation. But yeah, let's talk about sieging. I'll go ahead and move these guys back here. Sieging, you know, you can't break their high ground. Okay, that's tough. But with Ember Spirit, it's a lot easier because you can just keep on breaking them down with Sleight of Fist. It's a lot harder. It's really hard to defend up against an Ember Spirit simply because he can stand by the edge and just keep Sleight of Fisting your face. I'm not a huge advocate of the Eye of Scotty. It's nothing against it. It's not bad on him. It's just something I'm not a huge fan of.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
I mean, also I don't think it stacks with Desolator. I'm not really sure about that. Someone can tell me in the comments. I'm not entirely sure how that works. But anyway, so, you know, you won't have vision up here, of course, but, you know, throwing a Sleight of Fist up here is not hard, and you can easily grab their whole team. And, you know, that did 800 damage. You know, they're all bunched together, and they're not likely to actually all be bunched together, but, you know, that's still, with just a Desolator, Battle Fury, and a Shadow Blade, you know, I'm doing 800 damage, and this is a 6-second cooldown. Of course, I'm on WTF mode, so you're not seeing that right now, but I'm not gonna just on WTF. 6-second cooldown, easy to siege. Of course, they also all have hearts, and that makes it harder, but, you just keep breaking them down. I mean, these guys, you know, they're all carrying hearts, so they're super tanky, but just use the trick. And it's really simple. Like, it's just sieging. Having an Ember Spirit on your team while you're sieging just makes everything easier. I'm sorry, I know I've said that a lot. It's just,
Destiny awaits us.
I just don't like seeing an Ember Spirit back up while we're playing a game. And like we're trying to get on high ground, and I just see like him running back, and he's like, "Oh, I guess it's time to farm the jungle." While I wait on somebody else to break high ground for me, and it's like, no, you're the one. That's your job.
What dangers
Do it.
lie here?
Okay. So let's also talk about this remnant teleporting. So I'm gonna call it leaving a remnant teleporting back to base. Say you need to grab an item, or you're low on HP and you're ready to come back, you know. And you know, each remnant has its duration is 45 seconds. It's a 45-second duration. Usually you want to leave it somewhere where you're not, you know, not in the middle of a lane. You know, off to the side over here is okay. Usually I'd probably leave it further over, to be honest, or back here in their jungle while we're sieging. It gives you time. Like, it's just a nice thing because you can run back to base real quick, grab items, grab health, and you got 45 seconds to do it. Also, if you can manage to throw one down before you die, you can buy back and use it as well. So, you know, let's say I'm preparing to siege, and this asshole hooks his own teammate first because I can't actually grab this one, and they killed me. I'm getting eaten by punches. You know, this poor unfortunate thing. And your teammates really need you, and it's just like, oh hey, I can buy back. I'm back, guys. What's up? You know, it's really useful. The remnant is just it's an underutilized thing, and I'm sure you guys have probably, if you guys watch the pro scene, you've definitely seen professional players do that, but I just don't see it a whole lot in actual public games. So yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. If you have any other tips for Ember Spirit that I did not cover, just go ahead and leave them down in the comments. I'll add it to the description, and I'll make sure I give you credit.
It must be done.
Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more tips and tricks videos. As always, I'm trying to improve, so tell me how I did.